Okay, great. So, hi everyone, my name's Natalie Scarlett. I'm just trying to make sure we've got this up and running. Great. My name's Natalie Scarlett. I'm the founder of the Black Heritage Support Service. I'm also a successful project manager. I started out as a youth mentor, then worked my way up into engagement and development, and then into project management. So I've been working in the humanitarian sector and educational sector for over 15 years, and I've learned a few tricks of the trades. I've had a lot of rejections. It's been a long journey, and I've kind of figured out a little bit of a recipe to help those who might feel stuck. So this webinar is really for anybody of any age. It doesn't mean if you're 56 that you can't change your career or do something different. It doesn't matter. It's never too late. And I think sometimes we act as if like life's over when we're 40. I've noticed since going over that 30 mark, I notice more of those kind of schemes, those 18 to 30 schemes are all over the place, and there's literally nothing once you pass 30. So this is a bit of a structured way and a bit of a structured guide to help people, regardless of age, get their career on the go. It could be that you're working as a waitress or you're working in a cinema or whatever, and you just feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. No one should be waking up every day hating their job. No one should be, not in this country anyway, waking up every day and just feeling disgusted that their job is dry like rich tea biscuit. Like, it's time for us to enjoy what we're doing. It's time for us to feel good about getting up on a Monday morning. Like, I'm sick of Mondays feeling just like the day of dread. Mondays need to become the new Friday because you're enjoying what you're doing. So I'm going to share a few tips with you about how I got to where I am, and also to those, I've had kind of a few extra barriers in place. One, I'm a woman, Black woman, but I'm also a single mom. So that hasn't been easy at all, since we know that single moms are pretty much excluded from taking or applying to any full-time career jobs due to childcare. So we'll get into a few things in a little bit. The first things we're going to be looking at, the main three areas we're talking about, is where to start. Like, when you're thinking about a career, you might not have the qualifications that you think you need. So where do you start? When thinking about career development, you might not even realize that, some people genuinely think they're not good at anything. They're like, oh, I don't know what I'm good at. And it just takes a little bit of breaking down and looking into some of your natural skills to understand that there's a place for that. There's actually a sector for that. So it's just pinpointing that. I've also got how to write a good job application on here, and how to progress in your organization. So this is Natasha. We're going to start off with a short exercise. This is something that I find really useful, and actually I wish that I did this earlier on in my career. It would have saved me a lot of time. I mean, you're always going to do things and spend a little time doing things that you don't like, or thinking you're going to like something and then going into it and thinking, actually, that's not for me. But for the most part, we kind of just fall into a lot of roles, or we just take what's available or what we think mum and dad want us to do, and we take that on as our own. So this exercise is about really figuring out where my skills, my natural skills, be best placed. So what I want you to do, you can pause this, but I want you to write a list of 6 or 7 things. It doesn't have to be 6 or 7 things, it can be less than that. But think about the things that you really like to enjoy, things that make you feel good when you're doing it. So Natasha likes cooking. She likes listening to music. She can listen to music all day. She likes reading, watching political or social debates. She likes painting. She likes going out to events, loves gardening, and loves spending the day with the kids. These are kind of things she really enjoys. She could do these things every day if she could. But just because you enjoy doing something, it doesn't mean that you're good at it, and it doesn't mean that it should be the career choice for you. So when you're thinking about a career choice, it needs to be something that you enjoy, but also that a skill that you're good at doing for the long term. And when I say long term, I'd say between, 5 years or more, 2 to 5 years, or 5 years or more. So on the right-hand side, I'd like to write down 6 or 7 skills or less that you enjoy doing, that you're good at, that you enjoy doing and that you're good at and could do long term. So for Natasha, she's really good at debating and challenging, right? She's good at communicating effectively. She's good at organising events. She likes to host parties and things for family members. She's good at public speaking. She's good at motivating people, and she's good at defending people, like standing up for people's rights. So we need to think about what areas cross over. So we don't really see, you know, cooking kind of out the door. I wouldn't really advise us to become a chef. So let's kind of look at what areas cross over. So excuse me for the mess here. But from what I can see, and there's actually another one I might add, but from what I can see, so Natasha enjoys watching political and social debates. She's good at defending people. She's good at debating. Now, this is perfect for roles such as caseworker roles where you're having to advise and also represent people who are vulnerable, refugees, immigrants, those who are homeless, ex-offenders, people who need access to things but are often stigmatized or can be discriminated against. So we need those, you know, those real good debaters who can stand up for people, who are passionate about doing that, to get into these kind of roles. So it'd be roles for grassroots organisations or a humanitarian charity, legal or court advisor. We've also got that she loves going out to events. So she loves going out to events, and she's good at organising events. So that says straight away to me that she would be really good at event coordination as a start, and then moving into event management. The other things that I kind of pointed out from this is she loves spending time with kids. I don't know if it's her kids or with family members, but she loves spending time with kids, and she's good at motivating. And I think everyone knows that kids need motivation, they need to be engaged. So the things that I was thinking about there is youth mentoring, getting into some youth mentoring, seeing what's available in the local area. Alongside that, I've put marketing assistant. I've put broadcast radio production. She loves listening to music. She likes motivating, she likes communicating. So that's the other one that I'd put on there that I didn't, is broadcast radio production, which you'd start as an assistant or even, you know, a runner. Or you could even start at a local radio station or community radio station where they might want some volunteers, but we'll get into that in a minute. Here's another case study for us. So we've got Adam. Adam is an ex-offender and was released from prison 6 months ago. Since Adam has been out, he has not been able to secure a job due to his previous convictions. Unfortunately, ex-offenders are stigmatised for life and are less likely to secure employment after release. So let's do the same exercise for Adam and look at his options. So one of the options for Adam, because he's been stigmatised, because people are seeing that kind of ex-offender on his DBS, they're not wanting to employ him, or they're treating him a certain way. So an option could be that he becomes a sole trader, he becomes self-employed and starts his own business. However, this will be hard work. It would mean looking at his work ethic. It means signing up for a business management course for free. So the government provides free courses for those on job seekers allowance. And there are charities that offer grants to ex-offenders or that work with funders to fund ex-offenders. Adam could also contact organisations like NACRO and the Apex Trust, who are charities that work with hundreds of companies to offer ex-offenders employment. So if he doesn't want to start a business, there are companies out there that will offer jobs to ex-offenders. So let's look at some of the things that Adam really enjoys and that he thinks, you know, he's really good at. So enjoys listening to music in the studio with his friends. He enjoys going out to music events in the evenings. He enjoys getting the boys together for trips, so he's good at organising to other cities. He enjoys drawing and designing for hours. These are some of his hobbies. So possible career choices for Adam. Well, first thing I thought of, music, friends, you know, that's night trips away in other cities. Club management, you know, club events, more so club events. So he could put on his own nights, start putting on his own nights all over the country. And you can make a lot of money doing that. Club promotions, you could work for certain clubs and promote for them, do the marketing promotions. Barbering, becoming a barber, you can train at barber school and become your own barber, or you can work at someone else's barber shop. Landscaping is a pretty interesting one. So if he's good at drawing, he's good with his hands, he's good at designing, you know, might you want to get into landscaping, designing people's gardens, or you know, public spaces. Could he be a self-employed graphic designer if he likes drawing and designing? Could he train up in that skill? Like I said, the government do free courses for people who are on job seekers allowance. So it's going down to your local job centre and finding out what training and what courses are available to you. So first things first, create a roadmap. So I know this seems annoying and long and you think, oh, you know, I haven't got time to write all these things down, but it is worth it. It is worth doing, because either way, you know, time's going to pass. So there's no point in kind of like moaning about, you know, having to do certain things. Time's going to pass. So you might as well start now, get a piece of paper out and create a roadmap with small incremental steps, not long steps, not like I want to be a lawyer in, you know, 5 years. It's too big, it's too wide, and it sets you up for disappointment. What you need to do is have small steps. So 3-month goals, 6-month goals. It could be that in the next 6 months, I'm going to obtain one skill. I'm going to add, and that skill could be anything. It could be I'm going to learn, you know, start learning a language. It could be I'm going to start working on my public speaking. It could be I'm going to learn how to become Microsoft literate, Microsoft Office literate. So you're going to learn one skill to add to your CV. You're going to start going to networking events where you can start to meet people in the sector that you want to go into, and that you're going to apply to one job a month with the hopes that in the next 12 months you can secure a job. But you want to have small goals. Don't be big and extreme. I want to be a millionaire next week. It's just nonsense. People say this is the secret and all that, and I'm not saying it's not good for motivation, but it's not realistic. These are rich Americans selling you a dream. Like, you have to create and make your own dream, unfortunately. And it's very rare that someone just, you know, in a week or in a month becomes a multimillionaire. So no matter who hosts, you know, people can host all the lunch brunches for women or whatever that they want, business in, you know, women in business, get rich in 6 months. It's unlikely. It's going to take hard work and dedication. So you might as well start now with a roadmap with small goals. Go online and search for jobs in your chosen area and highlight the qualifications you need to get started. So does the certain jobs that you've going for, does it require 1 year's minimum experience? And do you need to obtain your math GCSE or English GCSE if you didn't get it? So you're on, you know, you're ahead of the crowd now. So you know that, okay, for this job, I'm going to need 12 months experience and I'm going to need my maths. So I'm going to do that now, look to do that now. And that will take a year. Only takes a year to get your maths or your English. And then you can simultaneously be gaining experience at the same time. And again, I've said it again in this next point, it doesn't matter how long this will take or how old you are when you're doing it, because time will pass either way, right? You know, a year is going to come and go no matter what you're doing, and it's better that you're doing something productive within that year than sitting down saying, oh, I'm too old, because next year is going to come anyway. So you might as well do something with the year. Don't feel bad or belittled because you're a certain age. You feel like, oh, I'm too old to do this. Or you feel like you're too young to do something. Like, no, go for it. And again, remember that you can gain the experience and get a qualification at the same time whilst doing full-time work. I've done it. Many people have done it before. You can do volunteering in the evening. You can get experience in the evenings or on the weekend, and you can study after work on the evenings and the weekends as well. So next thing you need to do is gain that experience. So for most professional roles, you will need at least 12 months experience. There are no quick fixes. Things take time and will fall into place, but there are better routes than others. So the easiest way to gain experience for me is to volunteer. It's just the quickest way, and it's the most beneficial because you often get training with your volunteering, and some places offer you, you know, formal qualifications. So that's something you really want to research and look into. So you can sign up to so many different organisations, and there's lots out there. You got the Prince's Trust, you got the BBC, arts theatres, museums, environmental trusts, the National Trust, St John's Ambulance, Refugee Action, Beat Freaks, Botanical Gardens, youth academies, the list goes on and on and on, right? So if you have a full-time job and you can only find volunteering opportunities in the day, in the week, then speak to your employer at your current job and ask about flexible working. A lot more organisations are starting to do it now. So it might be that they'll free up some time for you in the week, you know, or just drop your hours, request to drop your hours. It will definitely be worth it. And just say, I want to drop my hours to study, to go into higher education or whatever, and then use that time to volunteer. So it could be you drop your hours, you drop half a day a week, or you drop a full day, you do 4 days a week. It was more than worth it in the long run. And there's nothing stopping you from contacting local businesses if you want to do volunteering, or if you want work experience. So if you can't find something in kind of like these larger charities or corporations or whatever, it might be that you know a local barber that will allow you to get some work experience, as long as you're helping out, as long as you're doing as told, following instructions, whatever, following health and safety. You know, if you're offering your services for free, then they're more than likely to welcome you on. Could be the same if you go to a garage to learn mechanics, or a local carpentry company, music agencies, local radio stations. Just go and just say, like, look, I'm looking for work experience. I can offer this amount of time. This is what I can do at this point, but this is what I'm hoping to learn. And you'll often find that people will kind of accept you. So how to write a good application. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but the first thing I really want to get through to people is keep it short, clear, and relevant. Think about if you were a hiring or recruiting manager and you're having to sift through tens and sometimes hundreds of applications. If you see an application that looks like a dissertation or a novel, you will just push that to the side. You will just, no time for that. And it's not right, but that's what happens. That's the reality of like people's time and capacity. They just don't have the time to keep going through each and every application. Keep it short, clear, and relevant. Make sure your skills and qualifications match the job and person specifications, and give one example of how. Okay, so what you need to do is use bullet points, highlight the person's specific specifications in a colour, and write your example next to it and follow suit. So everything that they're looking for, bam, 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 that's what you need to write down. I demonstrate this skill by, or for example, I can demonstrate how I've used this skill in the past, for example, etc. So, you know, you're keeping it short, you keep it straight to the point. They can see that their specifications matches your skill and you've done it before, so they're quite confident in that. You can always, you know, attach your CV and a support letter. So make sure your CV is tailored for each job. So for each job, make sure you're adding relevant skills and qualifications, and make sure that you're updating your CV every 6 months. Every 6 months, take out your CV, make sure you're looking at it, make sure things are up to date. Do not have a CV. Preferably your CV should be a page and a half at the most, but no more than that. Even if you need to put references upon request, just put that at the bottom, but don't be putting 10 jobs on a page. Pick out 3 roles that are specific to the role that you're applying to, that are relevant, sorry, to the role that you're applying to. Okay, so I will go further into detail about with all this stuff on future webinars, but today this is kind of like a touch point for us to just go through some tips and guidance in this. So lastly, how to progress in your organisation. A lot of people are in organisations and they just don't move. They're in entry-level positions and they don't move. And that's the problem that the Black community had with, well, the Black and Asian community had with COVID, was that we were all in frontline positions. And that's why, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons of why we were getting COVID 4 times the rate of the white community. So we want to start moving out of these entry-level positions higher in the organisation. Of course, there's going to be barriers in place, but we have to do what we need to do to make sure we're doing our best and putting our all to start moving up, right? It's possible. I've done it. I know people who've done it. We can do it. We just need to understand how to work the system. We need to understand how to put things together to get the results that we need, right? So this is why I'm going to go through these things. A lot of people don't know what an appraisal is. You could be working at somewhere for years and not even know there's an appraisal system. So an appraisal is a way for an organisation to assess your work performance. So you usually get scored between numbers 1 to 5, or something like that, something similar, 1 being the highest, 5 being the lowest. And there may be a bonus attached to you attaining a 1. So that's why it's really important for you to know, because if you're not getting that bonus, you need to inquire about why. And then, you know, equally, if you're doing really poor, you know, you can get disciplinary action for that, and then be removed and be fired for that. So you want to understand your organisation's appraisal system, and you want to know how it works. So have that conversation with your manager. Like, what do you need to get a 1? You know, and let them be clear about that. Also have regular one-to-ones with your line manager and document it. Document that you would like to develop in the organisation, and ask about what in-house or externally funded training might be available, because it might be that they might externally fund a course if it's relevant to your role and would help the organisation. So you need to inquire about that, what's available. Often companies advertise all these benefits when you start, and then you never hear about it again, but it is there and it is available. So find out what's available in your organisation, what training is there, and be clear about that, and ask your line manager how they're going to develop you. Say, look, I want to develop, and I want to know how you can develop me. How can you help me? What skills can we work on? You want to be realistic about the next role that's available to you. So if you work in hospitality or in the public service sector, in front of back of house, it may be that you go into a supervisor role, which people, you know, everyone, you know, kind of moans about that role. It's quite an annoying role, because you get all the responsibilities of a manager, but you get paid this, you know, 10p more than normal staff wage. So, but it's a stepping stone. You don't see it as a financial move. You see it as a career move, right? And just keep your eyes on the prize. That's one step closer to you becoming that, you know, first assistant manager or whatever it is. Like I said, small attainable steps. So it could be, you know, that your next step is to become a team leader or a coordinator, or for some, you're already a coordinator and you want to become a manager. So make sure you're clear about what's the next role you want to go into. Keep up to date with vacant roles. So if you're not being developed internally, I'm sorry, but it is time to move on. You cannot waste your time in an organisation that's not developing you because you're comfortable, or because you're scared, or because you feel like, you know, you're used to this. Oh, forget that. If you want to develop, you need to take that step and leave. You don't tell them about it. You don't say, oh, I'm going to leave. You do that in the background, hush, hush. So you go online, you look for vacant roles, and you sign up to internal, because there might be internal roles available that come up that you might not know about. So sign up to internal job alerts, but also external job alerts, charity jobs, Guardian Jobs, Indeed, Reed, they all do. You can all subscribe and get job alerts for specific jobs. Make sure you do that so you know what's available. That's the end of the presentation. I hope that helped and you got some tips and some guidance for career development. So we will be doing some more of these, but I guess this is a pilot for us, a tester to see how you've got on, whether any of these were useful. So please contact us at admin@bhss.co.uk and just let us know whether any of these tips were helpful and if you used any of them. Okay, have a great day.